Hi guys, it's that time of the week again. It's my Game Week 10 team selection video. But first, let's get into my Game Week 9 review and see how my wildcard got on. So guys, here's my Game Week 9 team. As you can see on screen, a massive green arrow, 70,000 K in rank increase. Yeah, definitely a good wildcard option. I think overall it saved me 7 points on my non-wildcard team, so definitely it made the green arrow. Obviously, captaining Mo Salah when I could have gone Kai Havertz was massively favourable. I think a 29-point swing it gave me, which is obviously brilliant. Rudiger getting an attacking return, which is very unlike him, is very good, especially when the more explosive Chelsea assets got attacking returns as well. But I was always happy to go with Rudiger on wildcard over a Chilwell or a James, just because he, for that nailedness in fixtures, if he's going to play sort of 9 and 10 or 14 and 15 games, I'd absolutely take that, because if he keeps a clean sheet or does anything really in that game where he plays and somebody else doesn't play, then he has the chance to make up for that one game or two games that another player has missed over him. The same for Diaz. Obviously, I could have gone Cancelo, but I just prefer Diaz for the nailedness, especially now I saw Zinchenko's completely back and in contention to play. I'm sure that Cancelo will play more often than not, but I just want that absolute nailedness in Diaz. And then obviously with Trent Alexander-Arnold, having this sort of three expensive defenders is the way I wanted to go. I didn't want to double up on any of those defenses. I just wanted to have the one player from each, the most nailed player from each one, or with Trent, the most explosive and nailed one, because obviously Robertson and Van Dijk are probably just as nailed, but Trent is, pretty essential in my opinion, if we're saying the word essential. So yeah, in terms of having those three, it allows me to hop on and off premiums or mid-priced midfielders and strikers with ease, basically, because I'm not making defensive transfers for the sake of it. So having those three, they're basically season keepers for my team now. Aside from injuries or really poor form issues, they'll be pretty much locked in. So obviously, the elephant in the room is the 3 1-pointers from Mbeumo, Rafinha, and Vardy. It's obviously not great if people go off before the 60-minute mark in FPL, as obviously it means you halve your points, and obviously you have no chance of getting any more points through attacking returns or anything, bonus points, etc. So if you've gone off and you get a 1 point, there's obviously question marks whether you should be considered for next week. But because we've got news, and I will come on to say that in the next part of the video, I think I will actually be keeping all three of them. So yeah, let's get into that now. And quickly, let's just mention Kai Havertz to get only 3 points when you're playing up front in a team that scores 7 goals is pretty disappointing. But I'm happy to keep him. He scored in the Carabao Cup in midweek against Southampton, so a Premier League quality opposition, even though they did make a few changes. But yeah, I'm happy to keep Havertz. He was always going to be like a 3 or a 4 week punt until Lukaku and Werner are both back. So yeah, I'm happy to keep him as a placeholder for Son, and he's got very good upcoming fixtures the next 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm happy to keep Havertz, but yeah, we need to take into perspective exactly what he was, and he was a punt. So yeah, moving on into the next part of the video, and I'll see you guys there. So guys, we're now moving on into Game Week 10 doubt or out. This is where I talk about the players that were flagged, the players that were potentially injured going into this game week, and whether they are confirmed to be injured or whether they will be back. So we'll start with the Brentford boys. As you can see, David Raya on screen. He is unfortunately out for between 5 and 6 months apparently, with a cruciate ligament injury. It's a really nasty one. He did finish the game. There was obviously nothing about it. But yeah, it was confirmed by Brentford on Twitter that, yeah, he's got a serious injury, and I think he will be required to have surgery. So yeah, it's not great me bringing in a keeper on a wild card for his fixtures and then he's out injured. But we'll get onto that later on the video, what I'm going to do with him. The other Brentford player I have is Mbeumo, and we are pretty confident from what Thomas Frank has said that he will be in contention to play on Saturday versus Watford. So I guess we'll see. Any more info comes out between now and the deadline about him, I'll let you guys know on Twitter. But at the moment, from what we've got, we imagine that he's going to be involved in some capacity. The same goes for Jamie Vardy. He's been in training now. Brendan Rodgers has confirmed. So we fully expect him to be back for Arsenal, and he has a brilliant record against Arsenal. So long may that continue, and hopefully he gets a lot of points. The Chelsea boys, Aspilicueta and Christensen. Aspilicueta has a shoulder injury, and Christensen had a problem with his teeth. So I believe both of them trained today. So again, they're back in contention for the weekend in the trip to Newcastle. Broja, I'm not sure how you say it, obviously on loan from Chelsea to Southampton. He's been confirmed out. Hasenhüttl says that he has an ankle injury, and he's not confirmed exactly when he'll be back, but he definitely will miss the trip to Watford at the weekend. Did I say Watford for the Brentford players? I didn't mean that. They're actually playing Burnley away. Sorry if I confused anyone there. Soufal, he came on against Manchester City in the closing stages of the Carabao Cup game, and I believe Moyes said he's fully fit for the weekend. So expect him to come back in for Johnson, who was a 3.9 million playing right back for West Ham, but obviously Soufal takes his place back. The Arsenal boys, Ben White came off early in the game the other day, but it's been confirmed that was just an illness going around the club. Apparently he'll be back for the Leicester game. If you're going to play him against Jamie Vardy, do so at your own peril. But I'm sure if you want, if you're expecting him to play and you don't have anyone else, he will be playing. And Arteta is also hoping that Tierney is back from his injury to play at the weekend as well. The last one is Rafinha. We heard in the Carabao Cup conference that he thought that the Bielsa thought Rafinha would be fit. So let's just wait and see on that. Bielsa's obviously a very honest man in his press conferences. So again, just check out on Twitter. It will be all over Twitter if anyone has confirmed, if any of these players are confirmed out for the weekend. But yeah, that's all I know so far. Let's get into what I'm going to do with David Raya. So with Raya out with a pretty serious knee injury, we will have to replace him. On screen are my three key sort of targets. These are the 4.5 or 4.6, Sanchez is now, £1 million goalkeepers with the best expected goals conceded per 90 stats. I think Brighton are the third best. Palace are the second best, and Brentford are the best of the three teams on screen here, and they're all in the, I think, top 7 in terms of the actual Premier League stats. I think Manchester City are first, Brentford are second, then it might be Chelsea, Liverpool, Crystal Palace, and then Brighton are slightly lower than that. So in terms of the stats, Brentford appear to have the best option. Of course, I have their number one goalkeeper who's now injured. That's why I went for him in the first place. They also have quite favourable fixtures, as I'll get onto in a second. But it's just whether I can trust their backup goalkeeper. Now, to give some context, Alvaro Fernandez has played for Spain one time in the past, and he's played at youth level for Spain as well. So I believe he is a very capable goalkeeper. I watched the Stoke versus Brentford game last night just to get some insight on how good he was. He seems like any sort of typical Spanish goalkeeper, is pretty good with his feet, pretty decent shot stopper, doesn't really like coming for crosses or anything like that. That's from what I've seen in the last, ever since Raya got injured. I just had a look at him on YouTube and sort of watched as many highlights as I could. Obviously, Gaeta. All three goalkeepers are from Spain on the screen here, which is quite amusing to me. But in terms of the others, I could easily go back to Sanchez. He's definitely the most owned. I think he's 23% owned at the moment. Um, Definitely, safety in numbers. Go with the crowd. If anything happens to him, if he plays well, if he plays poorly, we gain rank and lose rank together. So, I mean, there is a certain ease to going with Sanchez for that. And of course, he's the highest scoring out of the 4.5 original priced goalkeepers on the whole game. So yeah, it's an interesting one. What I think I'm going to do is, because if I go to the next screen and you see their fixtures, two of the goalkeepers on screen, Sanchez and Gaeta, both have red flagged fixtures this week. Liverpool away and Manchester City away. They are not two fixtures that you would want to bring a goalkeeper in for. And with Fernandez only having this one green fixture at the moment, like, obviously I don't want to bring him in because he is an absolute risk, because I haven't, we've never seen him play in the Premier League before. He's never played a Premier League standard side. He played Stoke in the Carabao Cup. So we don't know exactly what he's like. So I think what I'm going to do, because I have Foster as my bench option, I think I'm going to risk Foster playing against Southampton. Obviously with Broja or Broja, or however we're saying his name, with him out injured, that means Southampton are slightly less likely to score, I would imagine. And Watford, having played pretty well in the back end of the game versus Everton, I think I'm going to take a 1 week punt on Foster and just hold Raya, and then decide which of these three goalkeepers I want in the next week. And as you can see, they all have very favourable fixtures in game week 11 versus Newcastle for Brighton, versus Wolves for Palace, and versus Norwich for Brentford. All home fixtures, all really decent clean sheet potential. So yeah, I'm going to give myself one more week to see exactly who I want, and then I will make the transfer then. So that's my plan. Roll the free transfer this week. Let's get into the captaincy. As it's been recently, captaincy should be another pretty short short section of this video. Mo Salah is the absolute standout once again. Playing against Brighton at Anfield should be a really good game. He's on absolute fire with it again. Another 24 points versus Manchester United. He had a rest midweek, so he should be absolutely fresh and raring to go versus Brighton at Anfield. Obviously, if you want to go differential, I'm not going to stop you. You play your own game. We all play our own game when it comes to captaincy. If you'd like to go away from Salah, like, it's a massive risk, because if he hauls, then you're going to lose points, almost like you're going to lose rank, definitely. But if your player scores more than Salah, you're going to gain rank. That's just exactly how the game works. But there's times to have a punt, and there's times to play a bit conservatively. I think, although Vardy has a really good record versus Arsenal, I think it's not really the week to go for him, because he came off at half time last week. There was a bit of umming and ahhing whether he would be fit, whether he might get taken off early, if Daka or Iheanacho, I don't know which one of them will start, which one will come off the bench. And the same for Phil Foden, even though he's looked really good recently, except for the penalty aside, obviously. But, we're not picking him for his penalties. But he's looked really good. But there is always that risk that Pep takes him off, or Pep doesn't start him and he brings him on later through the game. I think Salah just absolutely nailed, in the form of his life, probably, in a Liverpool side that's looking really attacking, really threatening at the moment. Yeah, I would definitely go with Mo Salah, and he will be my captain this game week. So let's go into my team selection. So here it is. My whole team, my whole squad is on the page. As you can see, I have gone with Foster in goal versus Southampton at home. Pretty decent fixture for him. I'm hoping for a clean sheet, but I'm not exactly expecting one. Watford don't have the best defence, but I'm happy just to take that 1 week punt on him. Most people have Sanchez, and he's playing Liverpool, so just Foster to outscore Sanchez would be brilliant, in my opinion. That's exactly what I'd want for him this week, and then we can reevaluate the keeper situation next week, like I was saying. The back three, there's definitely potential for 6 pointers all round minimum. Newcastle away is not as easy as you would think it is on paper. Like, I do think Sir Maximin and Wilson can cause Chelsea a few problems. But I do think Chelsea have a very good chance for clean sheet, and obviously the same with Liverpool at home to Brighton, and Man City at home to Crystal Palace. Then you can see I've got Salah with the armband, Foden currently with the vice captaincy. I fully expect Salah to start and score a lot as normal. And moving on, we've got Havertz against Newcastle. Hopefully, he can reward the people that bought him last week with a return this week. That would be great. Playing up front again against Newcastle. I doubt he'll be as tightly marked as he was by who was it, Grant Hanley against Norwich. I think he might be allowed a bit more space to roam free into the channels and get a few more shots off. Just because in terms of the Newcastle defence, they don't offer that sort of like old school centre back like Norwich have Ben Gibson and Grant Hanley. The Brentford double up versus Burnley looks pretty decent. Tony obviously scored and assisted midweek in the Carabao Cup, so hopefully he can do a bit more of that. And obviously, if Mbeumo is past fit, he will be Tony's strike partner. So hopefully Mbeumo can stop hitting the post or the bar or anything else and start putting them into the net, because those two are seriously good value if they start scoring on this good run of fixtures. Obviously Rafinha versus Norwich. We all remember looking at that stat on Twitter about right wingers doing really well against Norwich. So hopefully that can continue. I know Norwich have changed systems since like the first 4 games, when pretty much everyone who played against them seemed to haul if they were playing right wing. I think it was Mahrez, Salah and Townsend or someone. I think they all hauled. So hopefully Rafinha can haul. I don't know, actually, saying that, whether he will be moved into the number 10 role or back out to the right wing. I guess we'll just have to see. Leeds haven't looked their self recently. Obviously, with 5 to 6 first-team players injured, it's difficult to play. I know I'm a Liverpool fan. You don't need to tell me anything about injuries. How poor we were at times last season with players missing, I completely understand. And, I understand what Leeds fans are going through. But, we'll have to see. I think that if Rafinha doesn't do well this week, this could be his final chance in my team, at least in this part of the season. And then, of course, we've already talked about Vardy and his record against Arsenal. I think it's something ridiculous, like 10 goals in 13 games or something, or maybe I've just made that up completely, but I remember seeing it somewhere around Twitter. But yeah, definitely a chance to haul. Vardy loves playing against the big 6. So, got a really good record against Arsenal, as I was saying. So, finally, good luck for Game Week 10. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Comment if you've got any questions, and subscribe so you're up to date with the latest content whenever I put it out. Thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you have a good weekend. Good night.